This is your spoiler warning for the first 5 series of Luther. If you have not seen all 5, then do not watch this video. That is your spoiler warning out of the way, so let's discuss. Now, Luther Series 5 just finished airing here in the United States. It aired back in the UK, I think in January, and I would have liked to see it earlier, but unfortunately I had to wait until now. But I've seen it, and I really like it. I do think this is a great season of Luther. And it's not the best, it's not the worst, but it is great. And Luther has a really high bar because it's a great show. And I just actually recently got into Luther in March, so I've been really excited to get to this season ever since then. So this season is just another great season of Luther. It's only 4 episodes long, and that's pretty standard for Luther. 4 episodes, I think, is a good amount of time. The 2 episodes is a little bit too short, but 4 episodes allows them to fully explore stuff and let things develop, and it's basically like a 4-hour movie, you know? So they just have this time to do these things and not rush stuff and take the time with the characters that they need to take to make things matter, make you care about things. And I thought they just did a really good job throughout this season of just making everything work. And Luther is really good at taking what should be ordinary elements and should be basically an ordinary cop show and having everything going on in it elevate it to the point where it's actually a great show. So it feels like it should be an ordinary cop show, but the lead, Idris Elba, is so good as John Luther, and his performance elevates it. And Ruth Wilson as Alice Morgan elevates it. And all of the cast are good at just doing their jobs well and just managing to bring that extra something to this show, which is great. And also just the writing and the dialogue and the way everything is done, it manages to elevate the whole show in a way that it feels like it shouldn't be able to be that good as this kind of a cop drama, but somehow it is, which is really awesome. So this season has quite a few elements going on. We have Cornelius, and his son is missing, and this season starts off with him thinking Luther might be involved or trying to get information from Luther, and then that plays out more, and we get to the death of his son, which is administered by Alice Morgan, who also returns, which unfortunately was a surprise that I had spoiled for me, which is a shame, but it was still a great moment and a great reveal and a great line that she had. And I love that she's back because she's such a great character, and her and Luther together are just perfect. So I just love seeing those two on screen, and they do a really good job at just having great chemistry together. And there's so much going on in this season that works well. So basically the main villain of this season, this doctor, he has an interesting aspect to him because he's basically a serial killer, and he's got this dynamic with his wife where she's kind of trying to stop him from getting himself caught, but he starts to do these really public things, and that kind of adds this little bit to it, that this little extra something that for what should be a bit of a ordinary element just isn't. And that's another way that the show just elevates stuff a little bit. So we have a new character in this one, Catherine Halliday, and she's good. She's not great, but she's good. She's a good character, and she's good on screen, and she does stuff well, and she's pretty well developed, and I like the dynamic that she has with Luther, and the way that kind of plays out this season is handled very well. And episode 3, then we get the return of Paul McGann as Mark, and he's a good character. He hasn't been around, I think, since season 2, but he's good, and he's good here, and I enjoy him. And he doesn't get a ton to do, but he does add something, because there's this thing where Luther's just going to this point in his life that's just further than you would think Luther might go. Well, not really as an audience member, but still, he just keeps going further as stuff gets messier and as more people die, and as he tries to keep that, under wraps and not have everything explode. And then it ends up exploding pretty quickly. So episode 3, we also have the death of Benny, which is a character I quite liked. His death didn't impact me a ton, but it was a really good death, and it was handled well. And it's really just a shame to see him go because he's a really good character. But he dies, and he's gone now, so we're not going to be seeing him. And that leads us right into the finale, and that helps to also raise the stakes of that finale, which is a great finale. This is a great finale. And basically everything starts to play out and unravel and come to a head, and we finally have Jeremy Lake and the serial killer, and he has a bunch of people coming to this house, and he just keeps murdering people, and then he almost kills Catherine Halliday, and then Luther manages to, arrest him. So now that is wrapped up. That part of the story is finished. And then we lead to the moment when Alice Morgan just shoots Catherine Halliday. And that was the moment I was just like, why did you have to do that? Why did you have to kill this person that I like? That was too far. Like, she does bad things. She should be in jail, really, but when she did that, that was just, that made me realize that she just can't, I should have known this, but she can't function in society well. And she just, basically, what could have been a relatively neat ending, completely exploded, and it was already messy because of all the stuff that had been going on, and of course there was the death of Benny, but then it just exploded even more, and it's even messier, and then this of course leads to her death when she falls at the end of this season, which of course is, mirrors the opening of Luther, when that man whose name I don't remember anymore fell down and didn't die. He in fact was put in a coma, which might be a clue that she doesn't die here, because it's implied that, she's dead. It looks like she's dead, but she might not be. That would be the second time that she didn't die, but, I do actually think she's dead, but I could be proven wrong. So there's lots of stuff that just works well in this season with Cornelius and Luther and Alice Morgan, and then the villain Jeremy Lake, and just all of these elements that just come together really well and make for a great season of television, and the finale just explodes in the messiest way possible, which is the kind of finale I love. I love the kind of finale where everything is just left in the air, and then it's like, oh crap, how are they gonna solve this situation? What's gonna happen from here? That I find is lots of fun. They aren't always able to be picked up on as well as they need to be, but hopefully in Series 6 or in whatever the future of Luther may be, they are able to do that. Overall, I thought that Series 5 of Luther was great. This was a really, really standout season of television, and I just found myself thoroughly engaged for all 4 episodes of it. All the characters are handled well, the plot elements come together nicely, and everything is balanced well, and Ruth Wilson back as Alice Morgan is great, Idris Elba is always excellent as John Luther, and it ends in a messy and fantastic way that I found myself thoroughly engaged by throughout. So I am going to give Luther Series 5 a rating of 9.25 out of 10. So that's going to do it for now, folks. That's my review of Luther Series 5. I really liked it. I would love to know what you think about this season of Luther, this series of Luther, whatever you like to call it. And yeah, that's going to do it for now, folks. I don't have much else to say. I have lots of reviews out all the time now. Lots of Doctor Who reviews, lots of Game of Thrones, Black Mirror, all of that stuff. If any of that sounds like it is of interest to you, then feel free to check it out. If not, that is totally fine. I appreciate your time here today. And that's going to do it for now, folks. So, thank you for watching. Take care, and have a lovely week.